Klay Thompson's dad ended up checking Monica McNutt and everybody who has the
Yo, what just happened? NBA legend Mychal Thompson just went off on ESPN's Monica McNutt, live, on air. And now, the sports world is basically on fire. All over Caitlin Clark. Yep, the rookie who's out here breaking ankles, breaking records, and apparently breaking egos too. But here's the real tea. Why are some folks in the media acting like she's some sort of problem? Is it jealousy? Is it biased? Or are we just watching the most awkward game of WNBA politics ever? Stick around, because we're diving into all of it. The shade, the shots fired, and the truth behind those viral headlines. Alright, let's pause the drama for a second and talk about the star of the show, Caitlin Clark. Because unless you've been living under a rock with no Wi-Fi, you already know this name is lighting up the sports world. This isn't just some promising rookie. Nah, Caitlin Clark is a full-on basketball phenomenon. She broke NCAA records like they were cheap glass. Most points ever scored in NCAA Division I basketball history. Men or women. Yup, she didn't just enter the chat, she brought fireworks with her. She's the kind of player who pulls up from the parking lot and drains it cold. The crowd screams. The internet explodes. Boom! Another viral moment. Her style? Flashy, fast, fearless. One moment she's dishing a no-look assist, next moment she's raining threes from Steph Curry range. And guess what? She's doing all that with a killer grin and a ponytail that deserves its own shoe deal. But let's talk about impact. And oh boy, it's massive. TV ratings are spiking every time she steps on the court. Teams are relocating games to NBA arenas just to fit the crowds. Ticket sales? They've basically become a luxury item when Caitlin's in town. She's not just hooping, she's changing the economy of women's basketball. And some people, they love it. Others? Well, not so much. But we'll get to that. And let's not forget the fan base. Millions of people who've never watched a WNBA game before are suddenly all in. Young girls see her as a hero. Die-hard basketball fans call her a generational talent. And even casual viewers, they're like, yo, who is this girl and why is she so fun to watch? Bottom line, Caitlin Clark isn't just a player. She's the reason people are finally talking about women's basketball at the dinner table. Okay? So now let's talk about the moment that lit the match. Monica McNutt. She's an ESPN analyst, former ball player, super smart. But when she had some things to say about Caitlin Clark, and let's just say, it didn't land well. On national TV, Monica basically said, "Hold up, y'all giving Caitlin too much credit." She questioned why Clark is getting all the spotlight, while other players, especially black women in the league, aren't getting the same love or media attention. Now, valid convo? Sure. But the way she said it, it had that "I'm not naming names, but let me clearly name names without naming names" kind of vibe. She didn't just throw shade, she planted a whole tree. Monica suggested that this Caitlin Clark phenomenon isn't just about talent. It's about media hype, selective storytelling, and who gets celebrated in sports culture. Translation? She basically said, "Y'all only care because she's white and flashy. Oof." And boom. That one comment divided the internet like Moses parting the Red Sea. Some people were like, "Yes, Monica, speak facts," while others were like, "Girl, are you serious? Caitlin's changing the game and you're salty?" Her tone felt low-key dismissive, like Caitlin's impact wasn't real, or worse, didn't matter. And let's be honest, if you downplay a rookie who's boosting the entire league's viewership, you're gonna raise some eyebrows, and a few flames, and a lot of tweets. Suddenly, this wasn't just a sports debate, it turned into a cultural earthquake. Alright, brace yourselves, because Mychal Thompson didn't just dip his toes into the drama, he dove right in and came out swinging. The man didn't hold back for a second. He took aim at Monica McNutt and ESPN, calling them out for what they were doing to Caitlin Clark. He didn't mince words. This was straight-up real talk. He was like, "Why are we going after Caitlin? Why the hate?" I mean, let's be real here. Caitlin Clark is doing what so many players dream of, taking over the game and putting women's sports on the map. But instead of celebrating her success, some people are throwing shade, and Mychal wasn't having it. He asked the question that should be on everyone's mind. Why hate on someone who's helping grow the game? Think about it. Caitlin is a powerhouse. She's out here making women's basketball the talk of the town, bringing in a whole new generation of fans and lifting the WNBA up. And what do some people do? They criticize her like she's doing something wrong. Mychal saw through all that and called it out, saying, "This isn't about creating division. This is about supporting someone who's putting in the work to change the game." And honestly, it's hard to disagree with him. Caitlin's impact is undeniable, and the crazy part is she's still relatively new to the scene. Yet, in a short amount of time, she's already making waves, and instead of putting her on a pedestal, people are trying to knock her down. That's where Mychal steps in and says, "Nope, not on my watch." What was even more impressive was how he praised Caitlin for her work in lifting the WNBA. She's not even in the league yet, but her presence is already making the game more popular. How many athletes can say that? She's getting fans excited, making them curious, and pushing for more eyes on women's basketball. That's exactly what the game needs, and Mychal's right to call it out. Mychal wasn't just defending Caitlin for the sake of it. He was putting the spotlight on what really matters: growth. Women's sports need more attention, and Caitlin Clark is giving it exactly what it needs. So, when the media or others try to tear her down, Mychal's like, "Stop right there. She's the future, and if you can't see that, then you're the one with the problem." Alright, so now we're getting into the real juicy part of the drama, the deeper questions. Is there something more going on here? Is the media trying to push a hidden agenda? Because let's be honest, the way they've been targeting Caitlin Clark, there's gotta be something else going on beneath the surface, right? Thompson wasn't just pointing out the obvious. He started dropping some serious hints that maybe, just maybe, there's more to this criticism than meets the eye. Thompson didn't hold back and hinted at something that a lot of us might have already been thinking: jealousy, race, and the media's influence on the narrative. Oh yeah, he wasn't shy about it. He suggested that these factors might be playing a huge role in the way Caitlin's being treated. Let's be real. This isn't the first time we've seen someone's success twisted by the media, especially when they're shaking things up like Caitlin is right now. First off, let's talk about jealousy. Caitlin Clark is a phenomenon. She's been making waves, breaking records, and lighting up the basketball court. The kind of success she's having? Well, that doesn't always sit well with everyone. When someone is rising to the top and catching all that attention, you better believe there's going to be some jealousy floating around, and Thompson was basically like, "Yeah, I see you, I know what's going on." The thing is, success isn't always met with cheers and applause. Sometimes it triggers insecurity in others, and that insecurity can turn into criticism. And when that criticism is coming from people who are supposed to be supporting the game, it gets a little shady, right? It makes you wonder, is it all about Caitlin's talent? Or is there something deeper? Like, maybe people are just mad because she's taken the spotlight that others feel they should have. Now, let's talk about the elephant in the room: race. Thompson didn't outright say it, but let's just say his words left a lot to be unpacked. The way athletes, especially women athletes of color, are treated in the media has always been a topic of debate. And here's Caitlin, a white athlete, receiving a level of fame and attention that many believe should be celebrated. But when we look at the way some other athletes of color have been treated, we can't help but wonder, is there a deeper, more complex reason why Caitlin is getting such intense attention from the media, both positive and negative? Thompson suggested that the media's narratives might be contributing to the divide, playing into these dynamics that go beyond just basketball. It's like, if Caitlin's doing well, should we really be trying to tear her down? Or should we be examining why the media seems to elevate certain narratives while squashing others? Are there deeper cultural issues at play? At the end of the day, Mychal Thompson's message was clear. Enough with the divide, let's start celebrating success no matter where it comes from. This is what we need more of, a focus on support, not division. Whether you love Caitlin or you're a fan of someone else, why can't we just appreciate the talent and hard work these athletes put in? Why make it about who's better or who's getting more attention? Why not just enjoy the game for what it is? Amazing, inspiring, and full of talented people. Thompson's plea wasn't just about Caitlin. It was about changing the narrative around sports, women's athletics, and how we as a society react to success. He's calling for unity, and trust me, it's a message we can all get behind. Okay, so let's talk about what's really going down in the fan world. It's getting spicy out there, with fans literally taking sides in this drama. On one hand, you've got the people who totally vibe with Mychal Thompson and his defense of Caitlin Clark. They're coming in hot with the Team Caitlin mentality, and they're not afraid to speak up. And honestly, it's hard not to agree with them when they see Caitlin out here making magic on the court, pushing the WNBA to new heights, and being a total game changer. It's like, how can you not root for her? She's doing everything right. But the real kicker? Fans are just as frustrated as Thompson is about how the media is treating Caitlin. They're genuinely baffled, asking, why all the hate? What did she do wrong? She's literally doing great. They see her as a shining example of what's possible in women's basketball. A young player who's already shaking things up and putting in work to elevate the league. So when they see the media throwing shade her way, they can't help but scratch their heads. The fans who are all in for Caitlin are calling out the hypocrisy. They're like, this girl is out here balling, breaking records, bringing eyes to the game, and instead of celebrating that, the media is trying to find ways to bring her down? And you can totally see where they're coming from. It's like, why can't we just let Caitlin enjoy her well-deserved success? She's out there doing exactly what the league needs, making waves, getting fans excited, and showing up with some serious talent. Why does that have to be met with criticism? There's a whole movement of fans who are now calling out the media for treating Caitlin unfairly. They're rallying behind her because they see her potential and the bigger picture. This isn't just about one player, it's about the future of women's sports. They want to see progress, not division. They want to see the media celebrate these moments instead of tearing them apart. Caitlin's success is supposed to be the story, but for some reason, it's being overshadowed by petty drama, and that's got fans up in arms. And what's even crazier, these fans are loud and proud about their support. You better believe they're taking to social media, commenting and tagging ESPN and others, calling for better treatment of the players who are pushing the boundaries. They're the real MVPs in this situation because they're fighting for what's right, giving credit where credit's due, and making sure Caitlin's achievements don't get swept under the rug. All right, folks, let's wrap this up with the key takeaway that Mychal Thompson was driving home throughout this whole debate. Unity. That's right, Mychal made it crystal clear with one powerful statement. Support the game, not just your favorite player. Boom. It's that simple. We're talking about the bigger picture here, and honestly, this is the message that everyone needs to hear. Women's basketball is growing at a pace we've never seen before. Caitlin Clark, Angel Reese, Diana Taurasi. These athletes are pushing the game forward and making history. But here's the thing. It's not just about cheering for one player or just one team. It's about supporting the sport as a whole. The more we lift up the WNBA, the more opportunities there are for everyone. Players, coaches, fans, and the league as a whole. It's a team effort, and the last thing the league needs right now is division. This is the perfect time to unite. Women's sports have never been in the spotlight like they are now, and we're seeing fans rally behind athletes in ways that were unheard of just a few years ago. But instead of dividing ourselves into factions, Team Caitlin, Team Reese, Team Taurasi, let's appreciate the fact that we have all these incredible players pushing the boundaries and showing what women's basketball is capable of. Every single one of them is a star, and they all matter. Whether you love Caitlin's fire, Reese's intensity, or Taurasi's legendary status, it's important to remember that they're all part of a bigger movement. When we stop arguing about who deserves the spotlight and start supporting all the athletes who are helping to grow the game, we create a culture that is built on respect, teamwork, and admiration. We're not just building the careers of individual players, we're building an entire ecosystem for women's sports to thrive. And that, my friends, is the goal. So let's keep the drama in check and focus on what really matters, the game. The WNBA has so much potential to keep growing, and it starts with us as fans. If we can support the sport as a whole, instead of getting bogged down in petty rivalries, we'll be doing a lot more than just cheering on our favorite players. We'll be helping to create a lasting legacy for women's basketball. Let's celebrate these athletes. Let's support the game, and let's enjoy the ride. The future of women's basketball is bright, and it's all about unity. Okay, we've broken down the drama, unpacked the media chaos, and dived deep into what it all means for the WNBA. But now the spotlight's on you. Smash that like button if you love raw, unfiltered sports talk. Hit share if you think your friends need to see what's really going on. And of course, subscribe so you never miss the real stories that go beyond the scoreboard. Because here, we don't just report the headlines. We dig into the drama behind the drama. See you in the next one.